Hey comics fam, obsession, sex, blood. Today we're diving into In Your Skin, a new Bollywood-themed horror comic from Image Comics arriving in late April. Thematically, this book is all about modern fan culture and the absolute mania some devotees will go through just to get close to their idols. I spent 15 years in the music business working with artists myself, so I've seen firsthand just how intense that devotion can get. Sometimes it's admiration, and sometimes it's a little bit terrifying. Swifties, don't hate me, but y'all can be a little bit strange.
They are going to kill him?
The story follows Bollywood superfan Priyanka in her obsessive quest to meet actress Aysha Sen. The way her infatuation is translated on the page immediately pulled me in. The book opens with these dissociative visual montages that not only capture her devout level devotion, but also grounds you in the cultural spectacle that is Bollywood. Those vibrant purples, the reds, the pinks, the dancing, the glamour, all serve to create a larger than life fantasy. But those sequences sharply contrast with the other moments in the book where Priyanka is forced to confront the much harsher reality of her true life.
My life sucks.
That visual and narrative juxtaposition creates space where the story can breathe and where the creative team can start digging into those darker recesses necessary for a truly effective horror comic to shine.
That makes sense.
S-tier letter and self-proclaimed occasional writer, Aditya Bidikar really steps out from under the shadow of his often superstar writing co-creators, drawing from his own cultural roots in India to craft something that feels unique in the genre right now. In India, celebrities can be elevated to almost deity level status. At the same time, the country is still navigating the lingering cultural effects of the caste system. That invisible hierarchy hangs over the story, and you can feel it being examined through the lens of fame and modern celebrity worship, a layered examination of India past and present.
That was deep.
What initially struck me is almost this overly purple prose at the beginning of the book that suddenly collides with the mundane reality of Priyanka's life as this story unfolds. Parental pressure, societal expectations, the quiet weight of everyday obligations. She's not always the most likable protagonist, but she's incredibly relatable to anyone who has ever taken admiration or obsession a little too far. And okay, honestly, who hasn't at some point? That might be Bidikar's greatest trick in the first issue. The book quietly holds up a mirror and forces you to confront some uncomfortable questions as a reader.
It was like looking in a mirror.
Who am I really? How far will I let my personal delusions take me in the quest to be someone else? And maybe most importantly, how comfortable am I in my own skin? In a culture famous for its gods, this story ends up being deeply and sometimes painfully all too human.
Humans are odd.
Moving over to the art, I became a fan of Psalm after reading Crocodile Black, even if that series didn't completely land for me. There's some serious visual flexing going on at the beginning, and the panel choices are carefully chosen, creating space for reflective material culture moments, which I love as an anthropologist. A glass of tea or a TV screen that serve as banal anchors to the rhythm and flow of the everyday life that they're clearly trying to establish in the book. Those quiet details serve as the rhythm of the story, which makes for the burst of gruesome body horror hit that much harder. There's almost a carnival energy running through the book, glamour, spectacle, theatricality, the bright lights of fandom pulling you in, while somewhere behind the curtain, something grotesque is waiting to be revealed. And the strength of the book is simple. You can't look away.
Look away. I can't.
What stood out to me is how effective the body horror elements are ultimately sold via close-ups. We understand who Priyanka is through her facial expressions, her mouth, her eyes, more than through the dialogue. That creates an intimacy with the reader that contrasts sharply with the hyper-curated identities we all try to present online. So when the horror finally is allowed to break through, it feels incredibly raw.
Damn, that hurts.
At a time when the collective comic sphere is clamoring for more representation, the blurs are looking at you, DC. This book feels like a refreshing cultural exploration of Bollywood, Indian identity, and the darker side of fandom, coming from a creative team that's drawing directly from their own lived experience, not just using that cultural landscape as window dressing, but digging into its raw and complicated realities to create something stylish, unsettling, and genuinely fresh. If this first issue is any indication of what the creative team can do, I wouldn't be surprised to see more projects coming from them through Tiny Onion down the road. And trust me, that final page absolutely lands, or maybe I should say shreds.
Maybe that's a clue.
Make sure to call your local shop and get those pre-orders in. And quick shameless plug, my co-host Jimmy just wrapped up an interview with Aditya and Som, so smash that subscribe button down there if you want to catch it when that drops. Peace.